Some of the most dangerous traps aren't set by enemies. They are carefully placed by the people we trust the most. Take Sarah, her husband Marcus, and her best friend Jessica. To understand how a trap like this is built, we have to look at the foundation. Sarah met Marcus in a Chicago coffee shop, and within 2 years they were married. Right beside Sarah for the entire whirlwind romance was Jessica, her inseparable college best friend, her bridesmaid, and her closest confidant. The reality, however, was entirely different. Marcus and Jessica hadn't met through Sarah. They had met in secret months before the wedding and months before the engagement to plot a long-term financial extraction. If we map out the first 3 years of their marriage on this timeline diagram, everything looks normal on the surface. But when we zoom into the financial data on the y-axis, we see a continuous, hidden monthly flow of funds moving from Sarah and Marcus's joint account directly into Jessica's bank account. Sarah discovered these hidden transfers purely by accident while trying to book a surprise anniversary trip. Thousands of text messages recovered from a hidden app on Marcus's phone show that these payments were just the beginning. The data packets overlapping the money flow here reveal Rapt made a calculated decision to stay perfectly quiet and turn her silence into a weapon. For the next 5 years, Sarah inhabited 2 entirely different realities. Every day, she had to smile affectionately at a husband she knew was stealing from her, and confide in a best friend she knew was plotting her ruin. Maintaining this required an immense degree of emotional discipline. Sarah now recognized all the subtle tells she had missed before: the unexplained afternoon absences, the quiet inside jokes shared across a dinner table, and forced herself to ignore them without flinching. She managed this by leaning on the skills of her father, a private investigator. Growing up watching him work cases taught Sarah how to separate her personal trauma from the clinical methodology of gathering intelligence. To survive, Sarah became a ghost in her own house. She channeled the raw devastation of betrayal into a state of cold, methodical patience. Over the first 2 years of her operation, Sarah quietly cataloged the hidden bank transfers without ever triggering a bank security alert, while simultaneously locking down her trust legally so Marcus couldn't touch it. This flowchart illustrates her approach: the legal chain of custody. Notice how the raw financial data passes through a secure verification filter, emerging as an intact, verified node of admissible evidence. During years 3 and 4, the intelligence gathering accelerated. As we add digital footprints to our chart, extracted app data, call logs, and geolocations, you can see them passing through that exact same time-stamped verification filter, neatly stacking beneath the financial records. By year 5, Sarah had enough raw data. She hired a specialized high-net-worth fraud attorney to legally format half a decade's worth of intelligence into an actionable legal strike. The final step on our flowchart shows all these individual data nodes merging into one locked legal vault. This represents a specific legal threshold called documented fraud intent. By proving this deception involved shared marital assets, Sarah built the specific evidentiary framework required to argue for a disproportionate divorce settlement in court. Marcus and Jessica thought they were executing a flawless scam. In reality, their arrogance had led them to generate the exact time-stamped data required for their own destruction. Sarah's first strike didn't happen in a courtroom. She bypassed the legal system entirely and took the raw evidence directly to Jessica's family, the owners of a highly profitable chain of luxury hotels. She showed them exactly how much of a liability Jessica had become. The social fallout was immediate. Jessica's parents were furious. They disinherited her, froze her personal accounts, and permanently removed her from the family business. With Jessica neutralized, Sarah initiated the legal slaughter. She filed for divorce, explicitly citing fraud and financial misconduct, and dropped the 5-year paper trail on the judge's desk. This pie chart shows a standard divorce splitting assets 50-50. But when the judge applied a fraud penalty modifier, 100% of the value swept directly into Sarah's column. She secured the house, the savings, 80% of Marcus's 401k, and alimony. Sarah used Marcus and Jessica's own greed and social standing to orchestrate a complete reversal of their operation. 2 years later, the contrast is stark. Marcus lives in a tiny apartment across the country. Jessica works at her uncle's auto shop, and they no longer speak. Sarah is financially protected, thriving, and completely at peace. Revenge is chaotic, emotional, and often leaves collateral damage. Justice operates differently. It is patient, systematic, and entirely reliant on facts. True justice doesn't require you to destroy someone else. It requires meticulous preparation and the discipline to simply step aside and let the undeniable truth do the work.